Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. I don't believe that in a 16-game NFL schedule, every game should be labeled crucial, especially when I think that the Browns are the only AFC North team that can win 10 games or more. But going in at 2-2, this upcoming San Francisco game is pretty important, if for no other reason than it takes some of the pressure off winning the Seattle game the next week, which would be prior to the bye and then that game against the Patriots. The Browns could just as easily be 2-5 as 5-2 after the New England game. San Francisco is undefeated in 3 games, although no surprises in any of their wins. Either way, it should be a fun game on Monday night. 49ers are a 3.5-point favorite. Go ahead, take the points. I think the Browns are going to win that one straight up. Dan-labbe is here from cleveland.com, and the Plain Dealer, More Sports and Les Levine, is on the air.
Well, listen, the game of football, you can make it as complicated as you want, but I like to simplify things, and it's about running the ball, stopping the run, and taking the ball away more than they get it from you. And that's what it's all going to be. I know a lot of people, that's not real fancy, but that's the way games are won and lost.
From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Thursday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine, into our 24th consecutive season and exclusively seen on cleveland.com. Exclusively seen on cleveland.com also is Dan-labbe of the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. So I'm watching Freddie-kitchens say that, and you were there, I assume, when he said that? Do you get the feeling that if it was Pat Shurmur saying that, it would be more laughable?
I think so. Yeah, it's all about where you are in the season,
right,
and what people think of you at that moment. And everybody loves Freddie right now, especially coming off that win.
Yeah, I thought when Pat Shurmur was here, and every time he opened his mouth, somebody was laughing at him and making fun of him. But actually what he said made a lot of sense. Like, if you can't pass the ball, you try to run the ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Force turnovers?
Yeah. Play
That
defense?
helps.
Yeah. Good pitching stops good hitting? Oh, no, that's another sport. What's new?
Well,
you're here more than I am, by the way.
I know. I'm just, I don't know why. I
That's
just
okay.
like hanging out here, I guess.
Yeah, it's a big party place that we have here going on.
It's a fun place to be.
So, Freddie-kitchens in his first year, I was going to say this is not normal with the schedule and Monday nights and Sunday nights and whatever else and a Thursday night coming up. But this is different for NFL players to play as many primetime games off other than Sunday afternoons for a lot of these players on this team.
Yeah, the guys that have been here, so they've been playing Sundays at 1 for so long, and a lot of the new guys have that, coming from college, have that Saturday kind of programmed into their minds. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond after this. Things normalize a little bit. You're playing on Sundays most of the way until that Pittsburgh game on Thursday night, but this schedule is a challenge for this team.
This portion of More Sports and Les Levine is brought to you by the Ohio Lottery. So I don't know if you were able to hear what I said. I said that I think the Browns are the only team in the AFC North capable of winning 10 games or more. You agree or disagree?
I think the Ravens can do it, but their schedule is still pretty tough. I think the Browns, if I had to guess somebody to win 10.
Did they get exposed by the Browns?
I think their defense got exposed for sure. And that's a concern. Now, they've got Pittsburgh coming up this week. That's a big game for both teams.
Who do we, as loyal Browns fans, who do we root for?
I think you want the Ravens to lose, right?
To lose? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because that way you can maybe get ahead of them.
Yeah, control your own destiny.
And the Steelers, you still have 2 games against the Steelers.
Right.
I think if you're a Browns fan, though, just don't watch the game.
Don't watch the game.
Just don't watch. You don't want to have to root for one of those teams, right?
No, it's easy to root against them, though.
I guess, but then you got to root against both of them. I guess you're rooting for a tie.
What do you want to do? You want to find the Miami Dolphins and the whoever?
Sure, watch the Buffalo Bills, or I don't know, or maybe the Lions are playing at 1 o'clock.
Buffalo Bills any good?
I think they are, actually. I thought that game against New England, they put up a pretty good fight. And I'm curious if Josh Allen would have stayed healthy, if he could have made a throw to win that game.
Well,
Because I
now
think he has that capability.
Now they're in trouble because you don't know what's going on with Josh Allen.
Yeah, but their defense is really good. I mean, that's the first defense that's been able to slow down New England at all.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. Dan-labbe is here from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. What did we see last week other than the reemergence of Nick-Chubb and all that he brings to the table? And let's pull ahead 4 or 5 games here. And what the heck do they do when they get that new addition?
I think Kareem Hunt and Nick-Chubb go together really well, honestly, because Chubb can be that workhorse back, and Kareem Hunt can play on the outside. I mean, he can go in the slot. He can line up outside. He's a good pass-catching back. And I think what we saw on Sunday is the return of that creativity, where Freddie-Kitchens will motion guys and put guys in the backfield. And, you could line up Kareem Hunt in the slot and bring him around and hand the ball off to him like that.
Don't they need Nick Chubb to have a lot of carries? Because he's going to break a lot later in the game. He'll break one.
Yeah, and I think you can still do that. I mean, I think you'll see his carries drop a little bit, but I think he can still get 15 carries. If they're able to kind of keep their tempo up and run a bunch of plays, I think he can still get 15 carries.
Okay, we're talking about the offense and the run game. What's going on now with the receiving core? You get one back, but you undoubtedly lose one.
Yeah, not having Jarvis-Landry would be big. I mean, just look what he did against Baltimore. He unlocks a lot of things for this team.
It's hard to believe he'll be able to play.
Yeah, I mean, it's a quick turnaround for the concussion protocol. Now, the game's on a Monday, so maybe that helps. That gives you that extra day, but you've got to decide if he can travel on Sunday, all of that stuff. Antonio Callaway, though, is going to open things up down the field. And I think that's something they've been lacking because teams have been able to focus on Odell Beckham. Damian Radley hasn't been real reliable, and they just don't have a guy that can turn on the burners and get down the field like Callaway can.
I saw something different in Baker-Mayfield. I saw a guy who did not throw off his back foot this week. Did you see anything? Did you see that, and did you see anything else?
Absolutely. He didn't throw off his back foot. It seemed like he was setting his feet when he would scramble. He would set his feet. He was more confident. And the ball was just coming out quicker. And I think a lot of that had to do with the way they were calling plays. They were giving him opportunities to just get rid of the football and get the ball in the hands of Jarvis-Landry and some other guys.
Somebody told me earlier in the week that they thought that freddie-kitchens had given up some of the play calling and said at the end of the first quarter on Sunday, he said, "No, give it back to me." Is that possible?
The offense looked different. I don't know that he'd given up any play calling, but I feel like it felt more like last year's playbook than it has in the first 3 games when they were running a lot downfield.
So what do you expect this week? I already said take the points. They're going to win us straight up anyway.
I think this is going to be a tough game.
Well, sure.
I'm still trying to decide exactly who I'm going to pick. I'm sure at some point here I'm going to have to pick somebody. But
I know who you're going to pick.
Who is it? I need to know. I guess. I'll make the populous pick.
San Francisco's not good enough to be 4-0 no matter who they played all year.
Maybe. I think their defense is really good.
Yeah.
And now their last game against Pittsburgh, they turned the ball over 4 times in the first half and still found a way to win that game.
Do you think Kyle Shanahan still has his PowerPoint presentation?
Probably somewhere on a thumb drive, sitting in his house somewhere.
At what point does a guy like that give up the ghost and say, "Okay, it's just a football game"? Do you think that lasts forever? I don't want to say hatred, but the remembrance of what happened here?
I think it probably sticks in there a little bit. The
least until
ownership
the
is
first
still
time?
there. Yeah, I mean, I think he remembers it, and I'm sure he wants to take it out on the Haslams, but really he's just got to go win a football game.
It looked like he had a perfect job opportunity in presenting PowerPoints.
Yeah, he could
if the football thing didn't work out.
Corporate attorney or something like that. I don't know.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dan-labbe is with us. There's over $6.25 million paid out on Ohio Lottery pick games every week. With that amount of winning, stop by your local retailers. Try your luck with the pick 3, pick 4, or pick 5. We'll come on back. You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. Back in a moment, More Sports and Les Levine brought to you exclusively here on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
We're facing an excellent 49ers football team that's 3-0, top 5 in defense, top 5 in offense. They do an excellent job running the ball. I think it's 175 yards a game running the ball. Kyle's always done a great job in the run game and created unique ways to throw the ball down the field, and nothing's changed from that area, and been very successful at doing it. Defensively, they're looking at 5 first-round draft picks up front. They're playing with great passion and energy. They get to the ball, they play hard. I don't know what else you want in a football team. They're very good.
This portion of More Sports and Less Levine brought to you by our friends at Northeast Factory Direct. Dan-labbe is with us. Dan, just one time, whether it's freddie-kitchens or anybody, I want them to just come out and say, I know this team is 3-0, but they're not very good, and they are certainly not well coached.
They're not a good 3-0. They're overrated. We don't think they're going to be a problem on
I don't know
Monday.
how they won 3 games with that terrible offense and terrible defense.
Listen, I've watched the tape. They're not.
Right.
They're not all they're cracked
Wouldn't you
up
love
to
to
be.
see that just one time?
Oh yeah. That would be great for those of us that are right about the team.
Okay. The Browns, question marks about them in the first 3 games, but now they come up with an unquestionable win offensively and defensively. And although they lose Kirksey, that's not good.
Yeah, and the only good news of that is they've been without him for a little bit at least. They've played 2 games without him now. So
Right.
at least Mack Wilson has gotten a couple games under his belt. But the issue with him is going to be now offensive coordinators are going to look at ways to attack him,
go
and he's
after
going to
him.
have to adjust.
He looks pretty good, by the way.
He does, yeah. He moves around really well.
All right, tell me about the defensive backfield. Anybody coming back, or is precautionary measures keeping them out, or just they're not ready?
Well, Morgan Burnett was back today in practice at least, but Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams are still on the side. So it's still very much day-to-day with those guys. That's what Freddie-Kitchens said. And again, this is one of those situations where maybe that extra day is going to get one of those guys back on the field. But, these hamstring injuries, I guess these were pretty serious, and those things can
I would
linger.
guess. On the Denzel Ward situation, I don't want to say I'm glad that it was a hamstring, but I'm glad it wasn't another concussion.
Well, yeah, because then you start to talk about long-term effects
Right.
and how long can he actually play, things
Before
like that.
before the season started, did you see any difference in him in the way he tackled? I know that he was told that he had bad tackling technique and all that. Did he change it, or wasn't he out there enough to tell?
It was a little hard to tell in camp, but I will say that there was a game where he missed, and I want to say it was the Jets game, where he missed some tackles. And I just wonder if that kind of comes from maybe changing that form a little bit, because he is trying to keep his head out of the tackle, which
Right.
obviously you want to do if you've had concussions, and that's not the way you want to tackle anyway. And I wonder if that adjustment led to some missed tackles.
I'm wondering if he was tackling that way at Ohio State, and they just said, "Go ahead, do what you need to do."
Yeah, and you're not going against as talented players, and
True.
You can be a little more. Everybody saw that hit that he had, his last year in college, and it's kind of, you just go up and hit guys in college. In the NFL, you've really got to be able to tackle guys.
Right. Do you think that the Browns open some eyes this week around the league, or doesn't that matter? It matters to the certain coaches who may want to say that they're overrated, but does it matter what anybody else thinks about them?
I don't think they care, but I also think you've got to do it again and again. You've got to be able to repeat that type of performance, and this is a very different defense they're facing on Monday night. The Ravens' defense, frankly, hadn't been very good coming into this game. They were a little shorthanded. The Browns took advantage of it, like you're supposed to. But now you've got to start stacking that stuff,
Yeah, but
and that's really
also,
what's going to turn heads.
I thought where they did a great job was they contained him, and he wasn't able to get to the outside and cut it back. And I thought the Browns did something right that way.
Yeah, that was the best that I've seen anyone be able to contain him. Kansas City, contained him for a little bit the week before, but he got loose and made some deep throws when guys got behind the defense because of it. They did a really nice job of getting a hold of him and bringing him down and making sure that he wasn't able to use his legs a whole lot. And the big thing is, more than his legs, scrambling around and then getting that deep ball down the field when people react to it. And the Browns did a really nice job of containing that stuff.
You think Kansas City or New England runs the table?
I think Kansas City, if anyone's going to, I would say it's the Chiefs. I don't think anyone's going to, though. I think they'll lose a game along the way. I'm guessing they have to play each other at some point because they both finished in first place last year. So at some point, I haven't looked at either schedule. I don't think either team can do it. But if I had to bet on someone, I would say Kansas City.
Yeah, it's interesting because many people would say New England just because of the Bill Belichick factor, but it may not be the case.
I just really like that Kansas City offense. Their defense is questionable. New England has a better defense, but they can score on anybody.
You know, this is kind of quiet. It's happening quietly with Kansas City, but when Joe Thomas retired, it got injured and stopped at 10,363. The reigning champ at that moment was Mitchell Schwartz.
Yeah.
And he's still got it going at over 6,500.
That was, it was such a mistake to let him go that offseason. Of all the guys, a guy that was developed here, was playing really well, to let him walk in free
agency. Married a local girl, wanted to stay here.
Yeah, and you're still kind of chasing that ghost a little bit. Yeah. They had to sign Chris Hubbard last offseason. He's been okay, but he's not Mitchell Schwartz. You're chasing your tail there.
That would have been it would have saved them a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and he's in his 20s.
Right.
He would have been perfect to keep here.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You've heard us talk about Northeast Factory Direct for quite some time now. They've got 3 great locations, east, west, and south. The south one, of course, in Macedonia, west 140th Street in Cleveland, and the old B&B Appliance building that's in Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid. And it's just 3 big bare-bones warehouses filled with some of the same stuff you're going to find at a number of stores, except for one thing. You're going to pay half price or even less than that at Northeast Factory Direct. The bottom line is nobody's going to touch their everyday savings or quality. If you want nice big-ticket items to improve your home, you want to pay half price, how about going to northeastfactorydirect.com. Northfield Park in the month of October, plenty of action. Coming up on the 12th, they've got the special promotion, the courageous $125,000 Courageous Lady Stakes. That's Saturday, October the 12th. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. And we'll come back in a moment with Dan-Labbe. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
So me and Coach Preef, we have a great relationship, and we talk about stuff like that all the time. 3-step was just something I chose to do my last year of school, just because I thought it was going to help me get more power into the ball, but not realizing the older I get and the more work I put in and the flexibility, it was all going to come together anyway. So Coach Brief one of these days just decided, hey, let's see what you got with two-step. And I punted the ball just as good, if not better, than a three-step. And he kind of said at first, no, let's just wait till the off-season. Then we went out again. He said, let's see a two-step again, and I two-stepped. He said, you want to do it now? I was like, Coach, I'll do whatever you want, man. We can go and do this now and get it done. And he said, cool. And he kept asking, are you sure? I'm like, absolutely positive. I trust Coach Prefer with everything. And, that we think it's going to work. And there's going to be, some training wheels on it a couple of times. But as long as you stick to it, work on your technique, and use the jug work as much as possible, I'm sure it can be successful.
And the three steps would give you more momentum, and the physics of it would give you more force. So with the two-step, then, is it more psychological? Like, I got to make sure that I'm, it's bang, bang, and I do it technically sound?
Yeah, so we're hoping, what we think is going to happen is eliminating that jab step will eliminate inconsistencies. So catching the ball, flipping it, 1-2, and it's gone out of there. And it should speed up our ops times as a whole, because Charlie's got a really fast snap and it's accurate. Catch, flip the ball, it's gone, and it should eliminate people wanting to come and block it because they realize they're not going to get to the ball, all that stuff. So it should be nothing but positive for us.
All right, two things. Number one, he sounds like a guy with the confidence of somebody who just got his first rookie paycheck and it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what that sounded like to you?
Maybe, yeah. Even that league minimum or whatever it is,
that's
a lot
fine.
of money for a game
It's
check.
a guy from Arkansas Pine Bluff. Here's the other thing. Do you think he has a future in golf broadcasting when it's all over with that accent?
He might. And you know what? He was talking about golf today during that press conference. Somebody asked him about golf, and he was talking about some of the courses. He actually played Firestone South. I think he said he played the South course at Firestone recently, and shot somewhere in the 80s. Yeah.
I thought he was going to say, they always talk about Jim Palmer, the former pitcher. First time he picked up clubs, he was in his 20s, and he shot a 76. It just doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't.
It just doesn't seem right at all. Are you concerned that the kicking game, these two rookies have been just about perfect? That can't last, right?
It's strange. No, and that's going to be the test with a guy like Austin Seibert. When he misses a kick, how does he bounce back? If he misses a game winner, how does he bounce back?
Oh, don't say that.
It's going to happen eventually. I mean, every kicker, it doesn't matter who it is going to miss a really important kick.
Yeah, wait till the winds of Lake Erie come on down in November.
Yeah, he's going to get tested by that as well.
Yeah.
So,
there's
go
no way
down
you
to the
can
stadium and kick, but
there's no way you can simulate that.
No, you can't. And if this team is playing a January game at home, it's going to be brutal to kick in that stadium.
You confident in him? I guess you have to be until you're not.
It was weird on Sunday. I kind of didn't even notice the kicking game. He'd come out for a field goal or an extra point, and I didn't feel like, I've got to watch this. Let's see if he makes it. It just kind of, he made it.
Yeah, that's a good point. He made it because he's supposed to make it.
Yeah, it was a strange feeling.
Yeah. Are there any kickers sitting by on the practice squad?
No, they don't have anybody on the practice squad, and other teams they're having some kicker issues. The Patriots just put their kicker on IR and had to sign Mike Nugent. So the Browns are in a decent place at least. And I guess if they got into a pinch, they could always call up Greg Joseph again or something. But right now,
is it playing right away? Nobody picked him up, right?
No, I think he's still out there as far as I know.
And isn't it interesting? Because I thought he had the job won here.
I think he did initially. I thought he was out kicking Austin Seibert, even though neither guy was really playing very well. I think if you had asked me in early August who was going to win the job, I probably would have said Greg Joseph. But Seibert kind of got some things together and ended up taking that job.
Do you think Gillan has been told by Prefer or somebody, we don't need you to tackle guys in the open field because we need you to kick the football?
Yeah, as much as he loves to tackle and as much as that was a story, that's not why you made the team. And, you want him to be able to, in that spot, take a guy down or push him out of bounds, but you got to be careful too because you don't want to separate a shoulder.
No, but I think most coaches say go out and get the guy, but I don't think they really mean it.
No, I don't think they want to see that because then you got to go find another punter.
Yeah, and who's going to kick the rest of that particular game?
Now you're sending Austin Seibert out to punt, which
I guess
I think he's done before, but you
tell me why we haven't had since maybe Don Cockroft with the Browns, and I don't know who it would have been in the NFL. Why aren't there field goal kickers who are also punters?
You would think in the modern NFL when you got 53 guys
Can't be
and
that
teams
hard.
they're always trying to game the system a little bit that you'd want to have a guy that could do both. Just like I've always wondered why you don't have, you have your special teams coach, but how often is that guy a kicking specialist? He's usually, he
He's a
focuses on
block and
coverage and
tackle.
things like that.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
I'm just surprised teams don't have a guy on staff who's a kicking specialist.
I don't know.
It's bizarre.
I have no idea. You would think that would open up some jobs in the NFL. Those poor guys need
Yeah,
openings.
you give Phil Dawson a job.
Yeah. In fact, he can probably still kick.
He might be able to.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that's who they would call if something happened to Austin Seibert.
He would be the first guy to get on a plane to do it, I
Yeah,
would
just give him a
think.
call, see what would happen, and then you can call Greg Joseph or whoever else.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Would you say the injuries that the Browns have had is kind of normal for the NFL at the 3-game mark, or you think it's more? Do you think that maybe they have more key players hurt, or is it just the way the NFL is?
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. I think the list is a little longer than I'd expect at this point, and you've got guys, David Njoku's on IR, although he should come back after he misses his 8 games. Kirksey's out for the year. Your secondary, you've got guys missing games. The guys who are missing games, I feel like that it's a little high right now, but it's also been in positions where they can kind of replace guys, and they haven't really felt their loss yet. So I think it's been bad, but they haven't lost the real key players. Odell Beckham's still out there. Myles Garrett is still out there. Baker is still out there. They've had the guys out there that they need to have out
Will we
there.
see Taki sometime?
I think as long as Joe Schobert's playing well and Mack Wilson is healthy, I think he's going to have to wait his turn and play on special teams.
Did you think he was early on? Did you think he'd make the starting lineup?
I didn't. No. I
mean, they had talk
I
of
felt like
that.
he's a guy. Yeah, I felt like he was a guy that needed to work his way in. He's a guy that plays really fast. That hair on fire type of guy.
Right.
But I think he's got a lot to learn.
And you couldn't have Mack Wilson on the field at the same time.
Yeah, you couldn't have 2 of those rookies, especially when you already had Kirksey and Schobert
Right.
in the building.
216-575-0403. You can explore your interests and find a program at Tri-C that puts you on the path to a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tric.edu and find out more about Cuyahoga Community College. And we'll come back in a moment. We're halfway through with dan-labbe. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of October and save up to half off. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
I think one, he made a conscious effort to prepare, and he prepares every week. He's a football guy. He made a conscious decision to prepare and play good with his eyes and his feet and things like that. But one thing that gets overlooked sometimes, the guys around him played better too. You know, I've said this before, so much of what the quarterback and his success is dictated on other people doing their job. And we had a lot of people the other day doing their job, and that's the expectation that I'm talking about that we put on ourselves. Just do your job, do what you're supposed to do it how you're supposed to do it, and do it when you're supposed to do it. It's relatively simple. Now, it gets harder when you stop doing it on air and go against someone, because they impact that as well.
There's freddie-kitchens talking about Baker-Mayfield. Have you noticed, you speak to Baker almost every day, right?
We get him once a week.
Is that it? You don't get him, you can't sneak him out other than that?
No, he doesn't really like to do that.
Do you notice a difference in him this year versus last year?
He was a little more standoffish, I think, in training camp and leading into the
This year.
Yeah, not necessarily. I just don't know that he loves the group interviews as much. But I will say today when we talked to him, I don't know if a weight was lifted off, because he finally kind of played like he expects to play. He seemed a little looser today, a little more, I don't want to say cordial, because it's not like he's like nasty to any of us, but he just seemed more comfortable today, I guess.
I think he needs more sleep. That house he lives in, 70,000 people strong, it's kind of big to get some sleep in. He can't take a
trying to
nap.
figure out which
Gotta-
fuse to
Got to bring
switch,
straws
and
to his
he's
wife and all that stuff.
mowing the lawn. Come on, you can have somebody else do that.
Do you think? Yeah, you got the stripes already out there for you. Do you think that? I remember when Colt McCoy was here, and he was in a commercial before he'd ever put on a uniform for practice. It was for a car dealership, and he wasn't ready to be that guy. Baker is that guy already. No matter, almost the personality allows that to happen, I guess.
Yeah, Baker's kind of made for that.
Yeah.
And he's really good at branding himself and kind of controlling what he wants to put out there. He's got a little bit of that, LeBron in him, like being able to control what he endorses, who he talks to. He really controls all those elements of his
Well, do you
life.
think what Rex Ryan was talking about had something to do with that, and the fact that if he was 1-3, it wouldn't be a good look?
Yeah, well, it's never a good look if you're the starting quarterback and you're losing and you've got a bunch of commercials out there. It's kind
not
of
good
the
for the
world we
advertising.
live in now,
Yeah.
but it's never a great look if that's the situation.
What do you see the rest of the year with him? He's not going to have games. He's not going to have game in and game out. He's got to win games when he may not totally be there.
Yeah, he's got to be able to win a game. When freddie-kitchens was talking about the rest of the team played really well on Sunday,
Right.
He's got to win games when the rest of the team doesn't play well. When Nick-Chubb's not running the ball or there's drop passes, he's got to find a way to win games. And I think the really good news is we're going to see him in the second half going against some teams that he's going to be able to really put some numbers up against
Right.
and really play well against. And,
Well, that's
so
what
I
I'm
think
thinking.
he's going to finish really strong.
Yeah, if they can hang in there this first half of the season, then they can put some distance between everybody else.
But he's also got to be able to beat a team like Seattle. And
At home.
honestly, I don't think they're going to go to Foxborough and beat New England. But if you're a top-tier quarterback, you should be able to go to Foxborough and put up a pretty good fight and give your team a chance. So
That's a great
those are
point.
things we need to see from him.
Great point. But do you see the confidence in the rest? He's got Odell Beckham for the first time. Do you see some kind of confidence between the two going, or are they still feeling each other out?
I feel like it's still a little bit off. But the good thing is, and I think we're starting to see signs of this, freddie-kitchens last year made an effort to get Jarvis-Landry involved when he took over as OC. I feel like some of the stuff he was doing Sunday, we saw, letting Odell throw a pass, running that little option with Jarvis. I think things like that are freddie-kitchens' way of getting Odell a little more involved, a little more comfortable, and now we're going to see the ball go his way a little more from Baker-Mayfield, and they're going to connect eventually. It still might take a little while.
And
though.
to his defense, you heard all kinds of stuff about him. I'll be honest with you, and I think most fans would be honest, that they didn't watch a lot of New York Giants football the last
probably
couple
not.
of years. But they heard about him, and they knew that maybe he was trouble, especially if the team was losing, which the Giants were doing all the time. So far, he hasn't been any trouble, and it's not like the Browns are walking away with the division.
No, and he's not getting a ton of balls, but he's running down the field and blocking. He's involved in plays where he doesn't have the football. He's really good when he talks to us. He's one of those guys that if he's got something to say, he's going to figure out a way to say it, and he'll answer your question. And I mean, he so far has been great to work with, and there were people who covered him in New York who kind of told some of us the same thing. Like, he's actually a really great player to work with from a media standpoint.
And from a player standpoint, he's a good teammate.
Yeah, everybody seems to like him. He's already kind of getting that mention as a leader in the locker room along with Jarvis-Landry. Those two guys are really kind of taking leadership of that room and the team.
But what you get with him is earrings, you get watches, you get visors.
Yeah.
That's just nothing harmful, just kind of flamboyant, I guess, is the way I guess you'd say that.
You get some distractions. You know, you got to write a story
Every
about
week.
a watch. You got to ask about a watch or a visor or him losing an earring. I mean,
Well,
you just get some of those distractions.
It's hard for him to say, hey, what are you asking me that for? Leave me alone. When you wear that, you got to expect to get it.
Yeah, and I think he knows it too.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes he might kind of play it off as, oh, it's no big deal, but he knows what he's doing.
Right.
He knows that everything he does is going to get attention somewhere. But it's worth it for a guy like that. And I think we're going to see that as the year goes along.
So far it is.
Yeah.
He's been fun. You know, you mentioned before running downfield, making a block, or being part of the envoy into the end zone. You wouldn't necessarily expect that of a guy like that all the time, and yet I can't think of a play where he didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a guy that has to go hard every single play.
Right.
You know, he's already had a great career. You know he's going to do more on the field. He's made his money, all of that, but he's still out there. You know, sometimes
There's more money to be
playing
made.
like a rookie. You know,
There's more money to be made.
Yeah,
I understand.
Of course. He's got another 2 or 3 contracts in him,
that's
right?
for sure. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dan-labbe is with us from the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. You're heading out to, well, it's not San Francisco anymore. You're going out to Santa Clara.
Yeah, they're in Santa Clara.
Have you been in there? Been to that stadium?
I have not been to that stadium, no. So,
Supposed to be good.
Yeah, it's a nice new stadium, although, it feels like every week I see pictures on Twitter of an empty stadium, and I know that they've got a roof up top during September and October. It can be a little hot there, so I don't know what kind of atmosphere to expect. And that's a team that hasn't really been winning a lot either.
No, but they're winning now. They're 3-0.
They are 3-0 now.
I mean, I assume it's a sellout, right?
I'm not sure.
A Monday night game between...
It's got to be, though. I would
One would
imagine it
think.
would be. And you don't really have to deal with the heat as much on a Monday night.
Yeah,
you have the sun
is-
beating down on you.
As opposed to Candlestick Park, where they used to play with the winds beating down on you.
Yeah, right. It's I'm curious to see what the stadium's like. I'm curious to see what the crowd there is like and if they've sort of embraced this team or if they're still in wait and see mode.
I don't know that you can compare what you do to what the players do, but it's a 5:30 or 5:15 start time on the body clock, right?
Yeah.
So, or that's what it is. That's the Pacific Coast time. Do you feel anything different so that you can sense what the players are feeling between the flight out the day before and whatever else they have to deal with?
You know, I feel the time change sometimes, but also some of that is, I'm flying commercial and have to connect sometimes and have layovers and things like that.
You mean the Browns don't do that?
I don't think they do.
No.
So it's a little bit more of a grind in that regard. But yeah, I mean, you do feel that time difference. You do feel like, if you get up early, I know sometimes when I'm on the West Coast, I can't sleep past 6 o'clock.
Right. Well, you shouldn't.
You want to get a couple extra hours of sleep or something, but 6 o'clock rolls around and I'm ready to go, and then the day gets pretty long.
How many times can you go see the Golden Gate Bridge?
That's true.
There it is.
It looks the same
Hey
every
kids,
time, right?
there's Big Ben over there. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct has extensive selections of high-quality, semi-custom kitchen cabinets, and you'll save 60 to 70% compared to the big box stores. If you want nice, big-ticket items and you want to pay more, then don't go to Northeast Factory Direct. But if you want to save 50%, 60%, or 70%, any one of those 3 great locations, east, west, or south, Northeast Factory Direct, or go first to northeastfactorydirect.com. Sokolowski's University Inn, they wanted me to remind you that every Saturday in the month of October, they've got the clam bake, Saturdays in October from 4 to 9 p.m. And if you want to guarantee that you'll get a clam bake, you'll want to call in advance for reservations, 216-771-9236. And they've got steak and chicken and clam chowder, clam broth, baked candied yams, or red-skinned potatoes, as well as sweet corn, garlic toast, pumpkin, or apple pie. Dan, let's just go now. What are we waiting for?
Right, seriously.
Sokolowski's University Inn, Saturdays in October from 4 until 9 p.m. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
There was moisture in the basement. It ruined the carpeting. The smell was terrible. We didn't feel safe in our own basement, and that's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of October and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Winning enough for a new Saturday morning ritual. That feels like $1 million. Play the newest instance from the Ohio Lottery.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Let's check out the birthdays for today. Former Browns defensive end Jack Gregory, born on this date. Art Museum, 1947. Dave Winfield, Dennis Eckersley, seen on the left. Anquan Bolden and Adam Plutko, pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. Although the way they were talking yesterday, it doesn't seem like there's room for him. Did you hear any of that press conference?
I saw some. I didn't hear the press conference. I saw a few things kind of come out of it. It was interesting.
Time for a How Come Quickie. How come you know you were eating too many potato chips when the car wash guy and not your doctor tells you so? You go to get your car and say, Mr. Levine, too much chip crumbs down on the floor.
Yeah, that's the problem in my car, for sure.
I think it's the car. I think it's the car's fault.
Yeah.
You wouldn't spill chips. I wouldn't spill chips.
No.
Why would you waste a good set of chips? And by the way, we'll have quickies from the audience a little later, and I must tell you that Mr. Gullible has made a comeback.
Oh boy.
I can't show you, but you'll agree that he made a comeback today. I just think we almost had a 10.0 the other day. For Bud Shaw to give a 9.9.
He's a tough grader.
But I told him the problem is if you give a 10, somebody's going to just tip their cap and walk off and never send him in again. So I don't want that to happen either.
You got to keep that incentive.
So you know what
it
was? Let me see if I can remember it. How come when I won $1,000 and gave a quarter back, I still had $999.75. That's not bad. It encompasses all things that quickie should be.
Yeah, exactly.
No question about that.
I see where Bud was going there.
Yeah, dan-labbe is here from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. We touched on what you expect to see. Just let's be less specific here. Ground game, combination, air game, what do you look for offensively?
I think they're going to want to they might try and take a page out of the 49ers playbook. Really run the ball a lot. They're not going to run the ball as much as the 49ers will, but run the ball, get some play action going.
Well, why do you
really
say that? Because they have more the
49ers run the ball a lot. Yeah. They got two backs that they use. They still use a fullback a lot.
A lot of play action.
Yeah, a lot of play action for Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's really how they attack you. Browns fans saw it in 2014 when Kyle Shanahan was calling plays here. It's that exact same style that he basically built around Brian Hoyer to make Brian Hoyer successful.
Yeah, you forget how good that team was. It was 7-4 at one point.
It was 7-4, and there's actually a lot of guys from that team involved in this game. Not just like Joel Bitonio, but Shanahan. Jim Derail is a Browns coach. He was a tight end on that team. Miles Austin is a coach with the 49ers.
Isn't that amazing, though, in 5 years that almost the whole team, there isn't anybody left, really?
I was going through the roster trying to see if there was anybody outside of Joel Bitonio and Christian Kirksey, and I couldn't find anybody, unless I missed somebody. But I really think that's
Did Shanahan pick up anybody from here to play over there?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
not off the top of my head.
In there. And you talk about preparing a team in football for the future, and then you look what the future is. 5 years is way longer than a future should be.
Yeah,
when you're speculating what to do with a team.
Yeah, and things can change so quickly. An injury can derail a season, and
coaching changes.
Yeah, coaching change. Things can just go off the rails really quickly in the NFL.
Is there stability here finally?
I think there is. Freddie-Kitchens still has to prove it. But I do think if he's able to keep this ship pointed in the right direction. He is the guy John Dorsey picked. I think they want him to be the coach for a long time.
My guess is
you want John Dorsey to be the GM for a long time.
The last thing you want if you're Jimmy Haslam is to make that search again, although he's getting pretty good at it.
He is. I guess he's progressively gotten better. I don't know.
Hey, when you guys go on the road, like you're going, you don't travel with the team, but you wind up there. Is Jimmy Haslam, is he physically is he present there all the time, or is he in his owner's box and he stays away, or does he mingle with you guys before the game?
I usually don't see him before road games. I do see him coming out of the locker room sometimes, after the post game before we're allowed in. I'll see him walk out of the locker room with some other people.
Is it unusual? Do all owners go in the locker room?
Yeah, I think
Win,
a lot of
lose, or
owners
draw?
will do it. Yeah, and then, a guy like Jerry Jones sometimes talks after games.
Yeah.
The guy that we do see a fair amount of is J.W. Johnson, his son-in-law, who's taking on a larger role in the organization. We see him a lot and probably interact with him more than we do Jimmy.
It's kind of interesting because I don't think many Browns fans would know him if he walked by him on the street.
Yeah, but I mean, they're putting him out front more. He was actually the guy that kind of ran the press conference at the not the Hall of Fame, the NFL Draft press conference when they awarded that to Cleveland. He was kind of front and center for that. So they're trying to put him out there.
D wasn't there physically?
I believe D was there. I think D and Jimmy were there.
Am I right that for a while they put D out there to be more visible?
Yeah, Dee was very visible, and she's really visible now in a lot of their community stuff. They're doing this Get to School program and the resurfacing the field. She's been sort of front and center with a lot of that stuff.
The assumption is she was going out more publicly because there might have been a legal problem with Jimmy, but is that done? Is that out of the woods?
I think it is. I think he's free and clear. I don't know what's going on with some of the other executives involved in that, but I know, I don't remember exactly when it was, but there was a point when there was just no way that he was going to end up getting involved in any of that, the legal proceedings.
Right, or the league would have asked him to step aside for a while here until everything's settled.
Yeah, they probably would have had to step in and do something.
216-575-0403 is the number if you want to get in. One more segment to go with dan-labbe. Any questions or comments about the Browns, this is the time to do it. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing, and you can catch the excitement of harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and now Sunday evening. Monday through Wednesday, post time 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, post time is 6:40 p.m. But they're open early every day at noon for simulcast action all over the world. And the weekly Sunday contest features Belmont, and the top prize for that is $500 in cash each and every week. We'll come on back in a moment. We'll check out some How Come Quickies and your final comments. More Sports and Les-levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
There was moisture in the basement. It ruined the carpeting. The smell was terrible. We didn't feel safe in our own basement, and that's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of October and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. October 3rd, 1974, Frank Robinson named manager of the Cleveland Indians. He becomes the first African-American manager in baseball history. Art Shell, first coach, African-American football coach, was also named on the same day. I forget what year, but on October 3rd. Let's check out this date in Les Levine history. Les begins his broadcasting career in 1972 by changing his name from Lester to Les, figuring more sports and Les-Levine would not make it.
It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, but
you lose
the beauty of less and more and all that stuff.
Still.
First thing I learned is how to put this back in my ear. I'm not learning it very well. Let me ask, I'm going to do something very unprofessional. Hey, Mike, back there in the back, do I actually need this?
No.
Oh, wait, we're okay. We got lucky. All right.
Behind the curtain there.
Behind the curtain, yeah. I gave it. Hey, by the way, I'll be on, if you didn't get enough of me tonight, I'll be on 92.3 The Fan tomorrow morning from 10 until 2 with Andy Baskin. Then we'll try it. If we don't get it right, we're going to try it again on Monday from 10 until 2. All right, Mr. Gullible has some How Come Quickies. You ready?
I'm ready.
These are good.
All right.
You want to grade them?
I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
I'm not as tough a grader as Bud Shaw.
How come seagulls fly over the sea? Because if they flew over the bay, they, of course, would be bagels. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. But you know what? I'm going to go 6.5.
6.5? And Bud Shaw is a tough grader?
Yeah, well, now I've got to live up to his standards.
All right, this one may put you back on top. From Mr. Gullible again. How come I'm no photographer, but I can really picture myself with Jennifer Aniston?
All right, well, we'll bump up a point there. We'll go 7.5.
7.5?
Yeah.
I don't think that's enough, but
I might
that's
have gone
okay.
too low on the bagels one.
I think the problem on the Jennifer Aniston one is if you read it properly and you pause at the right time, anybody can put in any name they want, and it's almost like painting by the numbers.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, got about a minute or two. What do you have? What are you thinking about what's happening? What's happened till now, and what will happen in the next month?
I think the thing about September in the NFL is you've got to survive, and the Browns survived.
Because you don't know
They came
who
out
you are?
healthy. Yeah, and it seems like everybody in the league right now is 2-2. You're either really bad, or you're 2-2, or you're the New England Patriots.
You're the Patriots or the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, yeah.
And that's about it.
So I think the Browns did what they needed to do, and now you've got kind of this 12-game race to get to the playoffs. And the second half is really good. And I'm really curious about this game on Monday night. I think it's going to be a really interesting test for this offense against a really good defense.
Are we at the point as fans where you always root for the NFC team to beat the AFC team, or is it too early to manipulate the scorecard at that point?
I mean, I guess if you're going to pick somebody to root for,
it's going to count somewhere along the line.
Yeah, and the good news for the Browns is the AFC is not as good as the NFC right now.
Right.
So it's a lot more open than if the Browns were in the NFC. I mean, somebody was asking me who I think the third best team in the AFC is right now, and I honestly don't know. It could be the Chargers. If the Browns put together a nice run here, maybe they can talk themselves into that conversation.
Who's the biggest surprise negatively? I say it's the LA Rams.
That game against the Bucs was really disappointing, and they didn't look great against Cleveland. For a team that has a pretty good record, they've been disappointing. You know, I think the Steelers are disappointing. I know they lost Ben Roethlisberger, but the talent that they have just hasn't really stepped up.
Well, the thing about the Rams, you got Sean McVay, and everybody bows down to him. And I'm kind of glad they lost in the Super Bowl because I don't think he's ready to be anointed. And now he's going to find out it's a little tougher. Some guys can get to win one Super Bowl and that's it, and they live off that. There's no guarantee he's getting it early on.
No, I mean, there's no guarantees in this league. I mean, look at Seattle, who's playing tonight, who's going to be coming to Cleveland soon. That's a team that won a Super Bowl. And you think, okay, they might win 3 or 4 based on how they play.
They still
and
have
then
the
they lose
quarterback.
the next year, and they haven't been back since. They do still have the quarterback, though, so maybe they can get back.
Well, they lost one year because of a horrible play call.
That did them in. But they still lost.
They still lost, but I'm going to count that a half win because they should have won it, but their coach got dumb at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see if our coaches get dumb at the end just to be there.
Yeah, or just get there and score 3 points or whatever the Rams did. Right. But when you get there and you lose, you just never know when you're.
No, you never know you're going to be back. And I was talking about this with somebody the other day that you get there and you score 3 points or whatever it is, but in this particular game, I think Bill Belichick knew early on that he had that game won as long as he didn't throw something away, and LA didn't score more than 3 because Belichick didn't want him to.
Yeah, I mean, their defensive game plan was incredible. And it's carried over to this year. Their defense is playing so well. I mean, it's been, that game and then 4 this year. They allowed their first defensive touchdown. Or, I'm sorry, their first offensive touchdown
right.
Last week against
You say
the
Mike
Bills.
Nugent joined the...
Yeah.
Well, didn't catch that. Well, that'll be fun.
He's going to kick for them because Stephen Gostkowski went on IR.
So Nugent is what, 60, 70?
Something like that, ballpark.
It's funny. You know, you root for a guy like that because he's Ohio State and then wherever else he went.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden he's going to New England. You got to stop rooting for the guy. He's had enough. He's won.
I mean, when he was in Cincinnati even, he was a guy that you kind of rooted for and kind of hoped, hey, maybe he'll end up in Cleveland
even if it's in the same division. It was okay if he won a game.
For him, especially because the Browns were so bad anyway.
Yeah, Cincinnati was not getting in our way from winning anything.
Yeah.
All right, so now is the time you have to make a pick. I know you're going to pick it in the Plain Dealer or cleveland.com. How about on more sports and less Levine?
Okay.
3.5 point underdog. The Browns are 3.5 point underdogs.
You know what? I'm going to disappoint some people here. I just can't shake this yet. Maybe by the time I make my pick in the paper, it'll change. But I feel like the Niners are going to win this game. We're going to go 21-17.
Oh. Do you think
I just
people
haven't been able to shake this idea that the 49ers are going to win.
Well, people actually get mad at you if they don't like the way you picked it?
I don't think they will.
Yeah, I mean, they may get mad if they followed you and they bet money on it and lost because
Which
of
you shouldn't do. That would be a mistake to bet money on anything I predict.
Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
All right, have a safe trip. Enjoy the game. Bring back a winner.
I'll see what I can do.
All right, and I'll see you tomorrow, or you'll hear me tomorrow morning on 92.3 The Fan. It's like a quickie I'm working on. How can you make an appearance on radio? It's not possible.
True.
I wouldn't think. All right, I'll be on 10 to 2 with Andy Baskin tomorrow and also on Monday. We'll see you then, and see you back here on Monday night on cleveland.com. Of all the shows I've ever done, this is the most recent.